Hi, so this is part two of my post-op capsular release surgery. So I'm on day 9 now, but I have not made a video until today. So this is part two. There is a part one. So now I'm going to explain what happened from my surgery onwards. So I was taken down to be anaesthetized. Personally, I didn't really enjoy the experience. Everybody had reassured me it would be fine, it would just be going like to sleep. For me, it felt like I was on the Northlink ferry, which takes us from Shetland to Aberdeen on a bad day. So, but I was asleep within seconds, and the next thing I knew, I was waking up on the recovery ward. I woke up shivering and coughing. I think you can get quite cold in surgery, so they had this heated blanket on me. I remember they eventually gave me a strepsil because I was coughing so much, and I kept taking sips of water. And I immediately tried to move on to my left side, which is how I've been sleeping for months and months. And the nurse said, "Oh, what's happening here?" Oh, okay then. So she just left me to do that. And I think because I'd been on my back quite a long time, I just wanted to find a more comfortable position. But they were very good. I slowly woke up. They told me to go back to sleep, but I couldn't. I was listening to the nurses chatting on the ward and stuff. My arm, my shoulder was completely numb, like it felt weird, right up to here and right down my whole arm. And it felt really heavy beside me, but it was in a sling. I have a sling. I had to wear it for 24 hours, I think, and now I have to sleep in it for 2 to 3 weeks. But they want me to not use the sling in the day unless I really need to. For travel, yes, and if it gets tired. But with capsular release, they want you to start using your arm as much as you can within the boundaries that they set for you. Whereas when you have a tear repaired, they've got to protect that tear, so they don't want you to move it at all, which is what I prepared for. But my surgeon said although I had a tear, it wasn't full thickness, and so he said he couldn't repair it and it wasn't worth repairing. He said there was lots of fraying, and I think he tidied stuff up. But what they did, they cut through all the adhesions, all the kind of things that hold your shoulder in the capsule, that thickened scarred tissue. They cut through all of that. Then they cut through all the tight ligaments. They do it with a radio something probe. I've forgotten the terminology now. And it's quite clever how they do it. And then once they've freed it all up, they then manually manipulate your arm under anesthesia. And apparently they had my arm completely moving. And it isn't now, but it is a lot better than it was. And I think the physio, over time, you gradually get that movement back. So I was on the recovery. They moved me to a ward, and straight away they were checking my vitals and stuff. So I think my oxygen was quite low for a little while, so they kept getting me to do deep breaths in and out. They also said my blood pressure was a bit low, but that came up. I felt fine, really. No pain. They kept saying 0 to 10. It was not, because I couldn't feel anything at all. So people were asking how I was, and I was trying to text with this hand. I couldn't sleep. There was one other girl on the ward who I made friends with. She was lovely. But it was, yeah, I just couldn't sleep. I think I was anticipating my arm unfreezing, and it began by my little finger started to come round, and then the next one, and then the next one. And so it took about 16 hours from surgery, so sort of middle of the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock a.m., that I began to feel my arm again. They gave me dihydrocodeine ahead of the arm unfreezing, so to get ahead of the pain. So I took that. I'm not a fan of medication, but I take it if I need to. They also gave me paracetamol. My daughter asked me to ask for Laxido to go alongside the codeine, which proved to be very, very good advice. And that evening, the physiotherapist came to see me and said they want me to start exercises like gentle stretches ASAP, because otherwise there's danger of the arm refreezing. The surgeon said that your body thinks that there's a wound and it tries to heal back up. So I was very conscious I wanted to do everything right. So they gave me some stretching exercises, which I'm still doing. I'm doing them about 4 times a day. So what I do is I take my pain meds about half an hour before my exercises. Then I do my exercises and then I put ice on. So what I found, and I got this advice from a friend who had actually had a different type of surgery. She'd had a lumpectomy, but it had affected her arm, and she used these gel pads that you can freeze. They're actually, so they look like this. So they're actually meant for breasts, but I find them absolutely ideal for my shoulder because they mold into the shape of my shoulder. So I can have it like that. I can have it under my arm, and I find it small enough and easy enough to deal with and put in the freezer. So, and it sort of has little joints. So it's just gel, and it bends like this. So I don't freeze this little bit. I just put this in the freezer, and it freezes up really quickly. So that's been an absolute godsend for me. So I've got myself in a bit of a routine now, and I know what I'm doing. So I'm managing, and so now I'm on day 9. I feel like I have a better headspace. I was very tired to start with, and I still get really tired. I stopped the codeine after about 3 or 4 days. Because it was making me very drowsy, but also I knew I was getting blocked up even with Laxido. So now I'm on paracetamol and ibuprofen, and I take omeprazole every morning to protect my stomach, because what I was finding was I was waking in the night, not with pain in my arm, but pain in my stomach, because I'm very sensitive to medication. Coming home was difficult because we had to travel back to Shetland, so we had to leave our hotel. We got a bus to the airport. I had to sit around the airport for quite a long time, and coming back on the plane was not as bad as I thought it would be, but I was absolutely desperate to get home. The other thing I would say is I sleep sitting up with a lot of pillows around me. I have one of those, it's like a piece of cheese, it's like a wedge pillow, which someone else gave me. He'd had rotator cuff surgery, and then I put pillows in front of it, and then another V pillow at the top. I could maybe show you that another day, but that helps me sleep. Then I put my sling on, then I have a pillow under my sling, and I try and sleep like that, and it's not bad. I don't like sleeping half upright, but it is helping. So that's where I'm up to just now. I have my stitches out on Friday, which will be day 11, and I have my first proper physio appointment on Friday. So then I will find out if I'm doing things right and what to expect beyond that. So I'm kind of getting, I suppose, connected with my body and what's going on, and I'm trying not to overdo it, but I'm also trying to do what I need to do. So my stretches, one of them, I have to put my arm up a door frame or up the wall, and I have little wooden notches on my door, and I know already that I'm higher than where I was when I first started doing them. So that's giving me a little bit of an indicator that maybe I'm going in the right direction, but I know it's maybe a long road ahead, but it's not half as bad as I thought it would be. So I hope that encourages anybody that's interested. Please ask any questions. I will answer every one of them because I have nothing else to do just now. It's very snowy in Shetland at the moment. We're pretty much snowed in. My husband's being a marvel in taking the dog out, keeping everything ticking over. He lights the fire every day. He's a treasure. So it means I don't have to worry about anything, and I can't go anywhere anyway. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise. Maybe I'll put a couple of videos of where I live and how beautiful it looks, but it's a nightmare for travel. I'm really hoping that by Friday the roads will be a bit clearer so I can get to my physio appointment, and also to get my stitches out and I can have a little look at what's gone on there. So I noticed I have a huge bruise here, which not quite sure how I got it, but I guess it was them manipulating things. And I also have quite a lot of bruising up my arm here, but everything else is under this great big dressing, which I haven't taken off, but I can see there's one of the stitches there. I apparently have 3, so all going in the right direction. Thanks for listening.